Hello, hello. Just doing... Well, I was just trying to figure out what tutorials and stuff to follow along today, but I think I've got a couple lined up. Hope everyone's having a good day. What have we got going on then? I think we'll swap over to our dev screen, hopefully that's working. Why is it a black screen? What's not being captured? It should be there. Device not connected. Wait 1 second. Let's jump back over to this. Ignore that timer. I think it's just lost connection to the display, so let's make sure I've got the right screen. There we go. Cool. It's all good, don't worry. It's all under control. I was thinking I might start with this little tutorial. Probably let's just drop the background music a little bit. Yeah, just hopefully to... Nice, yeah, all good. Yeah, hopefully there's some useful extensions and stuff like that we can have a look at here for our development in VS Code. What we looked at yesterday was all of this. So we're following on from... Oh wait, do I have the link to it? I probably don't have the link to it now. Basically, there was a course for creating a Pokemon database from Sveltekit, and it will be in the description of the video on the VOD in YouTube. But I'm not going to get that just now. Actually, I suppose I can look at my channel, can't I? That would be the quickest way to find it. GG. And if we go here, what was the tutorial? It was this one. So yeah, yesterday Jeffrey codes JavaScript. That's the channel. So just having a quick look at Sveltekit, basically connecting to this Poke API and creating a page that shows all the different Pokemon on it, which is here, but we have to rerun it, which I can't remember. It's probably going to be one of these commands in here. Where are we? I think it's just npm run dev. Oh. We'll give it a go. Normally you do -- open to make it open up a window, but we've already got the window open, so we should just be able to refresh it. And kind of. There we go. And then we had it that if you clicked on a monster, it becomes selected. The tutorial goes on to give you like 2 monsters selected, but it does it in a way that isn't too efficient, I would say, with how it works. Even this isn't great doing it in the query parameters. So I didn't bother doing the full amount then. But yeah, this is a quite a nice little site, and who knows, maybe I'll continue some development on this at a later date, with an idea of doing some stuff for our Ironmon series, which is our Pokemon randomizer game that we're playing. Yeah, something like listing all the Pokemon in the first 3 generations, and then having options to figure out what move types are good against each one. Some more info about move descriptions and stuff like that. There's a lot of potential of what we could do here, but that's for a later date. So I'm probably just going to close these two. Do I want to close these two? Sure, I can come back to them on this list. Yeah, so we're probably going to have a look at the Level Up Tutorials course on Sveltekit, which is all of these different lessons. So I think this is a couple of streams worth of work through. Considering yesterday, if we only got through, what was it, like 8 lessons, they're about 10 minutes each. So this might take another few streams. Yeah, there's some important stuff in here. Hopefully we can get through that. But yeah, I think what I'll do, we had a look here on making a new repo just for learning day 2, because we're probably going to be starting again. So I've got a separate folder set up from the Pokemon stuff, and we can leave the Pokemon stuff available for whenever we need to use it. So I'm going to close that one, that's fine. And I just want to see if there's anything here for extensions and stuff. It's only a 10-minute video, so it's only a 5-minute video. When we speed it up, we'll run through this.
To improve your developer experience when building applications with Sveltekit. I've got some of these tips from this Reddit post here, which I will leave a link to in the
Might make this a bit louder.
To all of you out there, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so this first tip comes with the fact that all of our pages are now named plus page.svelte, right? So when we open one of these, let's just say we had a bunch of different pages open here. It's really hard for us to tell which page this actually is, right? Now, if we have multiple ones open, VS Code will take the path name here and append it to this label. We can actually make sure this is always showing, right? Because now we have these two page.svelte showing, but we don't know what page.server this is, right? So what we can do is we can go in our user settings and we can type in label format. And the first setting here, workbench editor label format, if we change this to short, you can see that now no matter what, I'm gonna be able to see which page I'm actually working with. So even if I only have one page.svelte open, I can now see that this belongs to the login directory.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely something we want to do. Label format. So, label format. Short. Cool.
If we change this to short, you can see that now no matter what, I'm going to be able to see which page I'm actually working with. So even if I only have one page.svelte open, I can now see that this belongs to the login directory. Okay, and if I have another one open, we can see that belongs to the register directory, and so on and so forth. So that's the first tip. Let's move on to tip number 2. All right, so tip number 2 I actually don't use, and maybe it's because old habits die hard. I'm not too sure, but I can never really get behind this one. But if we open up our user settings, and again, this is stemming from the fact that if you have a ton of nested routes here, you can see it becomes a little bit tricky to tell which file belongs to what directory. You kind of have to walk the dog up this line here to figure out, okay, this belongs to this. I'm not too sure which one these belong to. Now, this is supposed to help with that. So if we go into our user settings and we go to sort order, we scroll down to Explore Sort Order, and we change this to Files First. You're going to see on the left here, this looks pretty foreign to me. And again, I couldn't get used to this. I tried for 3 days because I did notice a benefit in the fact that I can see all the files first before the directories, but it just felt a little bit weird to me. So now if we look at our directories, our source directories are here at the bottom, and it's going to have the files first, meaning that any nested directories are going to come after the files that belong to that directory. So we look at our routes here. Let me actually collapse these. We can see that the layout.server.ts and the layout.svelte for this specific root route here is before the layout group folders. So then the layout for this layout group comes before the routes that are within this layout group, right? So you can see this, that the files come first. Now, again, I couldn't get behind this, but this may be something that you're interested in. So if it is, this is here for you if you'd like to turn this on. All right, for this third tip here.
Does that make sense to me? So in this source, so in this SRC folder, we would have app and app HTML at the top, and then the library, and then the roots. Yeah, I don't think we want to do that. Not for me.
This occurs if you want to have a route without actually anything in that route and then a sub-route of that route. So in this case here, you can see we have /login, then we have activate /join, and then our files here are inside of /join. So this page.svelte is actually inside of /join. However, it does this weird thing where it actually makes the folder compact if there's nothing in it, and that tends to confuse people from time to time. So to turn this off, we can open up our user settings, and we want to go.
No, that's fine. We're okay with that one.
Here, a lot of people ask me what icon theme I use. That is what it is. And you can see here that the routes directory in Sveltekit is green. So,
do I have material icon? I think we do. Or we've got something similar. We've got different icons for different folders. I'm okay with all of that.
In order to make all these subdirectories also green, so I know which when I'm in a route. Now, obviously, if you name something a name that's going to trigger like jobs, for example, it's going to trigger its own folder icon. Then that, obviously, it'll override your colors. But I want all my routes to be green generally, right? That way I can tell that, hey, these are part of my routes. We can do that if we go to our settings and we go to and we type in material icon theme.
We're okay with that.
Again, being able to tell which route you're actually in. So if you notice from my previous tips, the indentions shifted in quite a bit because I set it back to the default setting, which is probably what yours looks like right now. We can actually change this because look how close these are. When you get down to these deeply nested routes, it's really hard to tell which files belong to which directory. So what we can do, we can open up our user settings and we can do tree indent.
No, again, we're okay with that.
All right, so the next thing we're going to cover is extensions. I get asked a lot what extensions I'm using or how I'm doing something a certain way, and these are the 3 extensions I use that are related to Sveltekit and Svelte. So let's see how we can actually use these and take full advantage of these. So let's go into our routes, and let's just say we want to create a new route inside of employers. So all I have to do is right-click on this, go to Sveltekit files here, click on create route, and I can do /employer/something. hit enter, and let's just say that I want a page.svelte and a page.server.ts. Click OK. You can see that now a route called something was created. We now have a page.svelte with some boilerplate already covered. And we also have a load function set up here with the proper satisfies, types added, everything's good to go. So that's a really quick way that you can add routes. Another one is going to be the snippet. So let's just say that inside of employers, I want to create a new file. Let's just call this plus page.
Pretty sure we got the same extensions. Let me just double check. Svelte for VS Code, Svelte Intelligence, and Svelte 3 snippets.
So let's see how we can actually use these and take full advantage of these. So let's go into our routes and let's just say we want to create a new route.
Yeah, we got those three.
All I have to do is right click on this, go to Sveltekit files here, click on create route, and I can do /employer/something. Hit enter, and let's just say that I want a page.svelte and a page.server.ts. Click OK. You can see that now a route called something was created. We now have a page.svelte with some boilerplate already covered. And we also have a load function set up here with the proper satisfies, types added, everything's good to go. So that's a really quick way that you can add routes. Another one is going to be the snippet. So let's just say that inside of employers, I want to create a new file. Let's just call this plus.
So wait, do I have that option? If I right click into our code here, why do I not have the option? We've got snippets installed. We've got the same setups installed. But we just don't have the option in the right-click menu. Oh, there we go. Right, okay, I have to click on it. Right-click on routes. Okay. And library, I can do, okay, right, so it is there.
Page.ts. All I have to do is type in kit, and you can see that a couple of these things start to pop out, right? So we have kit submit, which I actually created this myself. We'll cover that in just a second. But we have kit actions, kit endpoint, kit load, and kit param matcher. So in this case, let's just say we're going to put a load function here. So we hit enter on kit load, and now it gives us the option to choose a page load, page server load, or layout server load, depending on if you're using TypeScript or not. In this case, it would just be a page load, and then we can start to import whatever we wanted to import here. Yada, yada, yada. So that's a really quick way. And they have the same thing for actions too. Again, we're not on a page that can support actions, but we can still add them anyways. And you can see here that now we have actions. We can add our first action, and so on and so forth, right? Now, the kit snippet I actually created myself, and I'll show you guys that here in just a second. I'll also leave a link in the description to be able to copy it over, but it just makes adding the progressive enhancement or the submit functions to my page.svelte that much easier. You can see here that now I already have all the boilerplate that I typically would want inside of a submit function added here. Anything that I don't want, of course, I can remove. So that's a quick way to do this. This next tip has to do with being able to more easily navigate different pages within your application. So this is kind of counterintuitive as to the other tips because those things help you, navigate your files like this. And I'm also bad at this, clicking around, wasting time trying to find things like this. Really, there's a much easier way. So here we have a few different nested routes inside of resume, which is inside of candidates, which is inside of my. So in order to easily find routes, what we can do is we can hit Control P or Command P if you're on a Mac, and then if we type in plus, we can instantly see all the plus pages and plus servers and plus layouts within our application. You can see that I have quite a bit, right? But let's just say that I want to find this create page here. So what I can do is I can type create and then plus, and now we can see that we have all the pages inside of create first. So I have the plus page.svelte and the plus page.server that belong to resumes create. So if I want to do education, I can do education plus, and now these are the two pages that are within education. That's just a quick way to switch between files that having to go over here and click through these different directories. I myself am trying to improve on this proficiency.
And it's, what brings that search bar up? Is it just the... Is it Windows P? No. Control P? What did he use? He used... I'm trying to see what the shortcut is to open up this search.
Counterintuitive as to the other tips because those things help you, navigate your files like this. And I'm also bad at this.
Control Shift F might be the case.
Really, there's a much easier way. So here we have a few different nested routes inside of resume, which is inside of candidates, which is my. So in order to easily find routes, what we can do is we can hit Control P or Command P if you're on a Mac, and then if we type.
Yeah, Control P. Oh, I tried that. Oh, no, it did work. Okay, and then that's easy to see all the page TypeScript files and also the Svelte files. Cool, okay. Control P, we're going to use a lot, hopefully. Got to get that in my head of how to do that.
Type in plus, we can instantly see all the plus pages and plus servers and plus layouts within our application. You can see that I have quite a bit, right? But let's just say that I want to find this create page here. So what I can do is I can type create and then plus. And now we can see that we have all the pages inside of create first. So I have the plus page.svelte and the plus page.server that belong to resumes create. So if I want to do education, I can do education plus, and now these are the two pages that are within education. That's just a quick way to switch between files that having to go over here and click through these different directories. I myself am trying to improve on this proficiency as well. All right, so for this last tip, it's going to be using the Svelte Discord server. This thing is a gold mine of resources. Anytime I have a question, I mean, right now, obviously, the Svelte community is still growing, so there's not as many resources out there as there are for other languages. But if you just use this, Discord search functionality is really good. So if I just want to type in something like loading data here in the Svelte.
Yeah, I use the Svelte Discord all the time as well.
Right? Get the URL parameters and a plus page.server. So people have a lot of the same questions that you probably have, and you can easily find the answers to these by searching for the right keywords inside of the Svelte Discord. I can't, say enough as to how much I'm able to learn from following this Discord and searching for.
The only issue I have at the moment with Svelte learning resources, which includes the Svelte Discord, is that a lot of the questions were asked pre version 1 release, and obviously some things have changed. And it'd be nice, maybe. I mean, they might do this, but it might be nice to have a tag just to say like, if this question was asked pre or post stable release. But that's all okay.
For things that I have questions about, there's a lot of really
Okay, any others or just the wrap up?
So
It's just a wrap up.
Right, so let's include this video on 10 tips for.
Cool. Okay. I think what we've got here is so this is the default setup. Actually, I should have done this. Let's do this again, just so I've got it on screen of how to do it. So I did npm create new, create svelte at latest in our top level programming folder. And then this calls on Svelte to create a new directory for us. And let's call this demo at v1.0. And we're just going to run the demo app with TypeScript, no linting, yes, prettier, no to playwright, and no to beat. Right, and then we got a CD into it, demo app 1.0, and then npm install. That'll install all the packages, and then we will probably not going to bother with the git commit because we're just going to open it and have a look at what is in the demo app now that version 1.0 is out. Give it a few seconds to install the packages from npm. And then we're going to have to change our directory here. Cool, all good, no vulnerabilities. And then we're going to run and open it. Let's say we don't save that. And then this should open up here, hopefully. And this is what the new demo app opens up to. So you've got a standard setup. It's got a nice counter on the front page, and it tells you how to edit, where to learn about Sveltekit, a link to Sveltekit as well, a link to the GitHub. About this is how you can make new. And then we've got Sverdle. They've built Wordle in right, so if we inspect this, we can see what's going on. We go to the about page. They're saying there's no JavaScript on this page, which we can probably see that there's no script tags at all. Let's search for script. Yeah, no script tags at all on this page. And then if we go to the Sverdle page, we should find some. No? It's gotta be. How is that not? This can't be done without JavaScript, right? Oh, is it just done in forms? Wait. Maybe if we start making guesses. So what word can we go with? Let's go with learn. So we know that there's an A. Is that an A in the right place, or is that an A? Okay, so it goes blue when they're in the right place. Ooh. No, don't navigate away. Okay, so it could do with being like slightly more obvious when it's grayed out. So wait, is this now using? This is still not using JavaScript. So if we look in the network tag, it does a fetch. Let's see the payload. It sends our guess, and the response probably here. Guess is 1, answer 3, answer 4. So it's returning info. But how is it? Let's try about. So A and U, but still in the wrong places. Oh, okay. So it does. It highlights letters that we've got correct. So something with U and A. Maybe try. Oh no, there's no E, so I can't do pause. God, I can't think of a word that's going to work for this. In you. I really want to put pause, but I know there's no E. God, I can't even think of anything. Let's just do pause. EOS. Where's this A? The A is at the end. So maybe like yes. God, I've got no idea what this word is. SU. Sugar. No, there's no R. I mean, I'm just gonna do it. Here's SU something A something. What can we put instead of the X's? No P. Sumac? That's not a word. Okay. Okay, I'm getting distracted with this, but how? What word could this be? I'm so confused with this. No. That's not a word. I've got no idea what this. I might guess another couple of words because I really want to see what the word is now. Let's just guess, figure a couple of times more. Sumac with a C, not a K. That is a tough word though. Anyway, so if we have a look at this and we see the Sverdle page, there's a how to play page, which if we click on this is what we get here. It uses form and cookies to submit data. Runs on the server instead of the browser, making it impossible to cheat. Ah, okay. So if I look in here, why is it upset? What's it upset about? Oh, we're not in this folder. Let's go to the right folder. Demo app B2. Demo app V1 even. Right, so if we go to, let's open the terminal up, and we go to our library. No, roots. We're in roots. We're in Sverdle. And this is the game. So words and words allowed from words.server. Which is where? Roots, Sverdle. Oh, from this file. Okay, so this is a list of all the words. That could be in the guesses. Let's just see what's at the very bottom. Okay, it's just one array of strings. And then in here, okay, this is, I don't quite understand. This is all going to be slightly over my head at this point. This is our how to play page. And this is our Sverdle page, right? Okay, I'm not going to look too long into this because it's probably a slightly more advanced guess. Oh, so it detects what keyboard setup we've got as well. by the looks of it. God, lots going on. Okay, well, that's the new demo app. Looks like they've added a little bit more. And it's quite interesting how they've got most of the interactivity not using JavaScript. Because some people do turn off JavaScript. I just realized we probably don't have the server running here, so that's why we're getting the logo missing. Yeah. Because we changed folders, we closed the old terminal. So we just need to do npm run dev again to get this up and running. And now it should be okay. Go back to the home page. Yeah, we've got our welcome message. Cool. Quite interesting there. And then with that, we're going to probably going to be closing this out. So Control C there just to stop the command from running. And then we're probably going to make a new folder for this, but we'll do it from our programming folder. So let's see what this Level Up Tutorials course is about. Put link in chat in case anyone lurking wants to have it a go. And also for anyone rewatching VODs and stuff like that.
I'm going to show you everything you need to know about building applications in Sveltekit, what makes them fun, what makes them fast, and what makes them flexible. Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tutorials, and welcome to Sveltekit. Now, Sveltekit has just hit version 1, and I could not be any more excited. I am such a huge fan of this platform. I've been using Svelte for a while now, and this very website, levelup.video, is built on Sveltekit. So what is Sveltekit, and why might you use it? Well, Sveltekit is the framework for building applications with Svelte. Svelte being the UI library for building excellent websites with ease. Not only that, but embracing web standards and being able to actually utilize things like the DOM and browser APIs. It couldn't be any better. And Sveltekit itself has an emphasis on ease, where Svelte as a language is a really great experience overall, because Svelte really makes things easy on you. And Sveltekit takes that same approach to building apps, whether that's making progressive enhancement really easy on the forms so that you can submit forms using real form APIs, having data just show up in your components after writing a server-side method or hitting an API, having applications being able to be deployed to static, node, cloud, whatever you want, even dnode, right? There are so many cool things about Sveltekit, and I'm so excited to show you all of them. What we're going to be doing throughout this course is exploring a lot of features in Sveltekit. And while you won't walk away with necessarily a practical application, I think the approach for this course is more focused on you walking away with the skills for you to build anything you could possibly want. We'll be using a real API, which is the Syntax Podcast API. We'll be using a lot of very real techniques. I'll be giving you a lot of tips and tricks along the way, things that I've learned from building a large application in Sveltekit. And we'll be diving into what makes this application framework extremely fun to use, which is so
cool.
Interesting that they mention fast, fun, and flexible, because if I were to describe Sveltekit in one word, I would say it's fun. Code with joy, and honestly, every single day that I get to work in my Sveltekit site, I'm happy that I chose Sveltekit.
Okay, so it looks like most of the course is on here. And hopefully we have an option to play most of these, but I assume at some point we're going to hit a paywall. But yeah, let's just jump into it, I think. Might have to log in. Going to prompt us for a login. No, doesn't look like it. So this might be the same video that we just watched. So this might be the intended start point.
Level Up Tutorials, and welcome to Sveltekit. Now, Sveltekit has just hit version 1, and I could not be any more excited. I am such a huge fan of this platform. I've been using Svelte for a while now, and this very website, levelup.video, is built on Sveltekit. So what is Sveltekit and why might
Is that
you use it?
playing?
Well, Sveltekit is the framework for building applications with Svelte. Svelte being the UI library for building excellent websites with ease. Actually utilize things like the DOM and browser APIs. It could implement websites.
Okay,
with
something different.
ease. Not only that, but embracing web standards and being able to actually utilize things like the DOM and browser APIs.
Where's my quality settings on
Sveltekit
this?
itself has an emphasis on ease, where Svelte as a language is a really great experience overall, because Svelte really makes things easy on you. And Sveltekit takes that same approach to building apps, whether that's making progressive enhancement really easy onto forms so that you can submit forms using real form APIs, having data just show up in your components after writing a server-side method or hitting an API, having applications being able to be deployed to static, node, cloud, whatever you want, even Deno, right? There's so many cool things about Sveltekit, and I'm so excited to show you all of them. What we're going to be doing throughout this course is exploring a lot of features in Sveltekit. And while you won't walk away with necessarily a practical application, I think the approach for this course is more focused on you walking away with the skills for you to build anything you could possibly want. We'll be using a real API, which is the Syntax Podcast API.
Okay, this is the same.
Mention that we're going to start a skeleton project from fresh, dive into all of the things you need to know about routing, then get into data loading, then get into caching and throwing.
Is there a
errors,
way to have
and
this
forms, and
slightly smaller?
deploying and stores and events and all sorts of amazing stuff. So follow along as we dive into all that and
Kind of wish that there's a bit more controls on the website. I can't see anywhere to make it smaller. This is just picture in picture, which is no good. It's nice that we got skip forward, skip back kind of controls and volume controls, and a option to cycle through playback speed, but slightly smaller video would be good, because with my monitor size, I can't get the top and bottom of the video at the same time. I assume this is filmed on like a 4K monitor or something like that. I wonder if I shrink it. Yeah, I might have to do that. Might have to manually shrink it, which is okay. That way we can have both our code and the video on screen. Let's leave autoplay on, and then hopefully we can get started. And I think we'll turn our Spotify down a little bit more as well.
Okay, so in this video, we are going to get set up with what is the default demo project in Sveltekit. And while we're not going to be using this for the remainder of the course, I do want to spend some time really diving into the code base. That way, when we start to do things and create files on our own, it feels a little bit more, well, like we know what we're doing and we know what to look for.
Oh, it might be the demo app as well.
Svelte at latest, and then whatever the name of our project is. Now, that's the type of thing that very well may change. So if you want to confirm, head on over to kit.svelte.dev, and you should see the Sveltekit website where the getting started install instructions are right here. So when it comes for you to install this, you might not need this latest in here, but since we need it right now, I'm going to include it in this video. We're going to type npm create svelte at latest, and then we're going to give our application a name. Since this is just simply going to be the demo code, I'm going to call this demo. You can name it anything you'd like. Now, at this point, it asks you if you'd like to use create svelte version whatever. From here, I'm going to go ahead and say Y for yes. After hitting enter, it started to create our project. It asks you what you would like, the demo app, the skeleton project, or the library skeleton project, in case you wanted to have a Svelte library. Now, the skeleton project is a bare bones way to start and what we'll be using for the rest of this tutorial. But for right now, let's go ahead and install this Sveltekit demo app, because this is going to show you
we've already done this.
What it's all about. Okay, from here, it asks us what we would like to use for typing, for TypeScript checking, that is. And if you'd like to use TypeScript, you can say yes, we'll be talking about TypeScript in this course. You can say no, or yes, TypeScript with JS comments. I'm going to select this first one because it's the most common thing you'll see in the Svelte community, and it doesn't get in the way of too much. It asks us if we'd like to use ESLint for code linting. Of that, let's just say yes for now, and then prettier for code formatting, and then no for browser testing, and then no for unit testing. We don't want to get ourselves too bogged down with too many files. So at this point here, we have our application. We can change directories into it with cd and then the name of our application. From here, it asks you to run npm install. And as you can see, our npm install went correctly, so then we can type npm run dev. This is going to allow us to get started up with the development process. You'll see that we have a local host port 5173. If you're wondering about why 5173, well, that's the default for the build tool called Vite that Sveltekit uses. You can see after navigating to that, we get a page with some counters. We get an about page, so we see that we have some routing going on. And then we have Sveltel, which is the Svelte version of Wordle. So this is actually fun. You can type in things here, and you can hit enter to guess. It's telling me that Scott is not a word. Okay, I get it. Let's try stale. Enter. And now clearly this is a Wordle as the demo for Sveltekit. Let me just tell you, this is a really cool thing that they've done here because it shows you interactive content mixed with route content, mixed with something static like an about page. But then we have something dynamic like a full-on Wordle game. Not only that, but it's fun, and it's fun to have this code in your code base. But it's also the main reason we're not going to be using the demo project for the rest of this course. Mainly that there's just too much to get in the way that we don't need. Okay, so this is how you install and get started with Sveltekit, especially with the demo. You can see that there's a nice little wizard that's helping us, giving us questions to answer, and allowing us to tune this code base to what we want it to be from the very start. In the next video, what we're going to be doing is diving and exploring the demo files. If you already kind of know your way around or don't care to do that, you can jump right into video number 5, which is starting fresh, where we're going to be starting a fresh project that we're going to be using for the remainder of this course. So,
let's see if the autoplay works as well.
Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Here we go. Autoplay seems not to be working. Let's manually select then.
Okay, so in the last video, we got up and running with the demo. In this video, we're going to be exploring the code. I'm going to hit Control-C to stop the process, and from here, I'm going to just type code./. Now, this is going to open this up in my text editor named VS Code. If you're not using VS Code or you don't have the code CLI set up, this will not work. You can always just drag and drop the folder that you created into whatever text editor you'll want to use. And the good news here is that mine works. So as you can see, this is my VS Code. Now, the theme we're using is Level Up Official. So this is our own theme, just in case you're wondering, and I'll do my very best to call out anytime there's anything special or fancy going on, especially in the editor here, so that way you can be on the same level. We'll be including a lot of pro tips along the way. And one thing to note here is that I've been using Sveltekit for a while now. We built our entire application levelup.video with this, and I've learned a lot of tools and tips along the way, so I'll be sure to share those with you as we go. So let's take a look at the files that are included inside of our demo. Now, the first two are ESLint files. These only show up if you selected yes to installing ESLint. Now, I did say yes to this and Prettier because I feel like all projects are going to need linting in Prettier. At least I would recommend them to be so. The ignore file tells you which files that ESLint should be ignoring, and the ESLint rc.cjs file is the basic configuration file for ESLint in terms of this project. Now, ESLint, if you've never used it, is what's called a linting tool. It will tell you if some of your JavaScript code is, well, let's say wrong or not formatted correctly. And formatting is going to come into play more when we talk about Prettier. Now, next up is git ignore. I'll assume that you have a little bit of git knowledge, but the git ignore file tells Git which files to ignore. The npm rc file is again for configuration for npm and node overall, not something we need to really think about. Next is the Prettier ignore file. Again, this is going to ignore the files that are going to be formatted with Prettier. Prettier is the formatter that comes by default with Sveltekit as long as we selected yes, and it comes with a few options. Use tabs, true. And I like this because it's an accessibility thing. Single quote, true. Trailing comma, print with plugins. So it gives you a bunch of stuff off of the bat for you to have your Svelte files formatted correctly using Prettier, which is a formatter that we're going to be using. Next up is JSConfig. You won't have this file if you're using a TypeScript site, but this just gives some basic options, and things like VS Code use this file to help understand your code base just a little bit more, with the TypeScript equivalent being a TSConfig. The package lock is going to be where all of the package files that we have, versions get locked. Package.json is going to be your typical package.json with a few installed packages out of the box. We have things like Vite, which is the build tool, TypeScript, we have Svelte check, which will check things, Prettier plugin, Svelte, Prettier, ESLint, types for our types, and then we also have Svelte.js kit, adapter auto. They give you a little confetti in here as well for the Sveltekit game, and then a font source Vera Mono, so that way we can use Vera Mono as a font in this code base. None of these things are dependencies, as they are all dev dependencies, but this is how it goes to start off with, and these are the versions of everything that we're using. Okay, so far we have a lot of config, as any modern project does. And to keep the config train rolling, we have two more main config files. And these are the two config files you'll probably be touching the most, considering all these other ones can mostly just be set once and forgotten. So inside of here, we have a svelte.config.js, and this is going to be where we configure Svelte-specific things for Sveltekit. Now, the types of things that you might find in a Sveltekit specific file are interesting because during development of Sveltekit, there was only ever one config file, a svelte.config, and that was it. If you needed to have the configuration for Vite, you did that in this file. However, now they've broken them out into two different files. And if you are the type of person who's now coming to Sveltekit after having prior experience with the previous version, this is one of those things that you're going to hit when trying to upgrade your previous site to this new version. So what types of things would you put in a svelte.config file? Well, you could specify aliases, you can specify the output adapter. We'll talk more about what adapters are, but it essentially chooses how you deploy your site, right? Whether that is a node app or a static site or anything, right? You would define aliases in here, like I mentioned. You could define things like your app directory, protection against cross-site request forgery. You can also tell Sveltekit where to find various files in your projects, specify output directories, paths, specify pre-rendering options, service workers, and even versions. And you can also specify pre-process options, whether or not you're pre-processing things like Sass or post-CSS. There's also a Vite config file, and inside of the Vite config file, all it's doing right now is loading up the Svelte config. And you might be concerned, like, why do we have both of these things, especially if they're kind of doing the same thing? Well, the Vite config is anytime you need to access Vite configuration options itself, typically when you're stepping into the build process, right? Maybe you have a plugin that does something pre or post build, or anytime you need to access options for the Vite build tool itself, because Vite has its own set of options, outputs, and all sorts of things that you can configure. So anytime you need to access that Vite config itself, you do it inside of viteconfig.js. Now, if you don't need any sort of options here, you might not be heading into this file very much, given that, well, it's basically setting you up for success here. However, we have found some interesting use cases in our own code base. Next up, we have the .sveltekit folder. This is a hidden file of your generated code. You can delete this file at any given point, and it will regenerate with maybe some errors in the command line about not being able to find some types or this or that, but the .sveltekit file is all generated code, and this is going to be largely stuff you will never ever dive into, but it's important to know what it is. Node modules are all the modules installed in your project, just like anything else. Static, notice I'm skipping SRC for right now, is going to be static files that are hosted on our site. For instance, robots.txt or favicon.png are the types of static files that you might come across, and these are available publicly, so obviously do not put anything private into this folder. All right, next up is going to be the SRC folder. This stands for source, and this is going to be where the majority of our applet. So here we have our app.html. Now this is going to be the entry point for our application, as in this is the initial file that will really be the full-on structure of your general application.
I don't know why they
properties in here. For instance, we have
speed changes automatically.
All the metadata that we have
just drops down every now and then.
Sveltekit body is going to be the contents of our website. So with these two dynamic variables, all of the rest of these things can be changed. For instance, if we change the style in here to say background black or something, this is going to get loaded on every single page, just like this div style display contents is, right? So the dynamic things are going to be happening within these percentage signs. So if these values end up getting removed or changed for whatever reason, your application will not function as you expected, okay? So you can modify things as much as you want, you can add meta, whatever, but don't remove these. Next up is the lib folder and the routes folder. Now, the lib folder and routes folder are interesting because they've undergone some changes pre-Sveltekit version 1. We're going to focus on the routes folder first, because the routes folder is going to follow essentially the routing structure of our page. We have a folder for each route. So the fertile route or the about route, or even just the base route, look like this. The basics of having a route, which is something we're going to be covering in great depth in this course, is going to be a folder with the route name and then a plus page.svelte file. That is all you need to have a route in Sveltekit, okay? But again, there's a lot of nuance here, and there's a lot of options and ways to make this more interesting. You'll see even by this plus page.server or plus page.js, or what do these extra files do if they aren't routes, right? So this is the routing structure of our application. You'll notice there are things like styles in here, and even files that aren't plus page. So the general rule in Sveltekit is if you have a component that's related to the specific route and only that specific route, then you define it within your routes folder right next to it like this, and it's not counted as a route. Again, routes are defined by a folder and then a page.svelte file. We'll be showing this all more in detail and getting our hands dirty with this as well. Now next we have the lib folder, which is kind of where you keep miscellaneous things. Now this is a folder that's aliased by default in Sveltekit, so you can access it really easily. However, you'll see that in their version, the only thing that they have inside of here in the demo project is images, and you have a few SVGs and a welcome PNG.
It's the default alias.
Where I would assume most likely somewhere in our header, you can see import logo from $lib images svelte logo. We'll talk more about this $lib thing in a bit. But the lib file can be used for more than just images. Anytime you have a component that's used in many places on your application, it makes a lot of sense to define it in your lib folder. And if it's only needed once in one specific thing, like a header that's only defined and used once, then we'll toss it in that routes folder. But it's really up to you at the end of the day. Okay, so these are all the base files, and I know that was long-winded. We covered everything in great depth, and maybe you're left now saying, holy cow, that's a lot of stuff. But in the modern web, with modern JavaScript stuff, you're kind of always going to have all of this extra stuff, okay? And what we're going to be doing for most of the rest of the course here is really focusing on primarily within one folder, that being the routes folder. Now, we'll get into some lib folder stuff. We'll actually hit some config stuff, and we'll dive into a lot of interesting topics. But the majority of your day-to-day work inside of Svelte and Sveltekit takes place within lib and routes, potentially static, but mostly things inside of your SRC folder here, and that's it. So in the very next video, what we'll be doing is creating a skeleton project from nothing. We're going to be using just about the exact same options, and we're going to be showing you how bare bones it is, but from there, we can start getting started creating routes, working with the server, working with the client, working with things like outputting to different environments, and really having an understanding of what to do where when you want to build a full-on application website using Sveltekit. As always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Cool, okay. Just wondering how... Sorry, I'm just checking on my times today. I'm not going to be able to do much of a long stream. One second. Yeah, probably only got another like hour or so. Let's jump into lesson 4, and then once we've gone through this, I'm just going to do a quick little break to top up water and get a coffee.
Okay, so in the last video,
and then we'll see how it goes.
Really dove into the code base for the demo app, and in this one we're going to be creating a new project already, this being the skeleton app. Now to do so, I'm going to make sure that I'm not in the same directory that I was in before, as in I'm back a directory, I've stopped the process, you can see the site can't be reached, and I want to go ahead and create a new site completely in its own project. So to do that, we're once again going to type in npm create svelte at latest. Again, the latest might not be needed by the time you're watching this, refer to kit.svelte.dev for more information there, and then we're going to give this the name of our site, that site being blog, okay? We're going to make this into a blog. You can name this anything you'd like. You have the total freedom to name this anything you'd like, and I'm going to name it blog. That's it. I'm going to hit enter, and then it's going to give me the prompts. From here, we're going to select this time the skeleton project. And for here, we'll say yes, JavaScript with JS.comments. And then ESLint for code linting, yes. Prettier for formatting, yes.
Give me a second here. So we want the skeleton project. We want JavaScript JS docs. Okay. These
Playwright for testing, no, and unit testing, no. We'll be covering both of those unit testing options in further Level Up Tutorials courses.
Again, it's changed. It's changed the speed.
Let's go ahead and head on over to CD blog or wherever you move.
Automatically.
Run npm install, and this time we're going to get up and running with a site really quickly, and so much so that we're going to be able to even create our first route within this video.
Right, we're going to pause that while npm install runs. It should be like 10 seconds or 15 seconds, not too long. We'll do a get init for this one. Few more seconds. And are we there? Yep. And then we'll do get init. And then run dev open. Which it's nice. Svelte gives us the next steps for us. I assume we can do that.
Here, the npm install worked. We can then run npm run dev to make sure our site is up and running. And now we have welcome to Sveltekit. Now I'm going to increase the size of this up to 250% so we can see this all a little bit better. And we'll make sure we have room for all of our...
Yeah, there's definitely something off with the site, considering it keeps changing the playback speed. But we are there.
Our stuff on
ready?
screen here. Now, I'm also going to open this up in VS Code. You can choose to do that however you'd like. And we'll be kind of changing the font size and moving things around here and there as we go. But as you can see, we now have our source folder like we had in the second video or the third video, and then the routes folder, which just will have one file in it this time. You can see it's a little bit more simple. All we have is this one file, which is welcome to Sveltekit, as you can see here in the HTML, as well as see here. Now, by default, this file and this part of the application is going to be what's called server-side rendered, as in when we look into the HTML, you can see that the welcome to Sveltekit is actually listed in the source of the page out of the box, meaning that you get great SEO support and server-side rendering support within Sveltekit without having to do anything out of the ordinary to make that possible. Okay, so we now have our application just
Wait, where's that?
more simple. All we have is this one file, which is welcome to Sveltekit, as you can see here in the HTML, as well as see here. Now, by default, this file and this part of the application is going to be what's called server-side rendered, as in when we look into the HTML, you can see that the welcome to Sveltekit is actually listed in the source of the page out of the box, meaning that you get great SEO support and server-side rendering support within Sveltekit without having to do anything out of the ordinary to make that possible. Okay, so we now have our application just like this. So let's create our first route. To create our first route, we need a new folder inside of the routes folder. The name of this folder is going to be the name of our route. So if we would like to have a basic About Us page, we could make this folder named About. Now, simply creating an About folder does not create the page. And in fact, if we head to our page.svelte from the index page.svelte, that is, and we have ourselves an anchor tag, right? Like a standard href. And this is really commonplace in Svelte and Sveltekit is to use anchor tags rather than any special router-based link or any sort of imported tag or any of that. We can say About Us, and we can have this link take us to /about, which is a very common way to write HTML. And if you can see, if we select About Us, it's going to give us a 404 not found, even though the About folder exists. So simply having a folder does not make this work. What we then need to do is create a new file. And this new file is going to be designated with a special signifier that is the plus. And the plus denotes that this is either a page or a layout. Okay, so if we're going to say page.svelte, we'll talk about layouts more as well, you'll need the .svelte extension, page.svelte here. And you can see instantly, without even doing anything, it picked up that this page exists. Now from here, we can just add some HTML. You can see it says About Us, and once again, we can have an anchor tag in here. The link this time can just go back to the root, and we can say this is home, okay? Now we have a functioning website here.
Oh, we're not running it. That's fine.
About Us, home, About Us.
Terminal.
Now the great thing about all of this is that it really blurs the line between multi-page applications and single-page applications and server-side.
Right, so npm run dev, because we've already got it open. And now we should see this update to give us our About link. If we reload this page, we'll have our skeleton app. And there's our About Us link, and it takes us to an empty About Us page. That's fine.
Rendering and all that stuff, and allows us to really focus on building websites, and then it allows us to then quickly and easily determine where we will serve these things up, depending on what our needs are, client side, CSR, SSR, whatever, SSG. You could just keep listing all the different rendering targets, right? So we have our page, we have some basic routing going on, and we have two routes, all within essentially the getting started video. So we've installed the demo project, we've created an about folder inside of our routes folder, and then a page.svelte file. And I should note that anytime I'm talking about a page.svelte file, it's assumed that the plus pages is there. So you'll often hear me say page.svelte. When I truly mean plus page.svelte, it's just much easier to say, and a page file is a page file, right? The plus just really adds some stuff that we'll talk about here that make it into a special file, okay? So we have this basic routing structure, we have our basic route setup, and we are ready to go really diving into the intricacies of Sveltekit. But we're not gonna get too crazy too quickly. We're gonna be talking all about how you load data into your application, because sure, it's really easy to have a server-side application when it's just HTML, but what about when we have to start pulling in data from here or there, or hitting APIs, or doing any of that stuff? And what does all that mean? Not only that, but what about layouts and resets and all sorts of interesting things, server-side only routes? I could just go on and on and on. So we'll be talking all of that more. And in the next video, we're going to be diving into routes specifically, talking about layouts and pages, how they differ, and how you can have layouts in your application.
Okay, so nothing too crazy just yet. I think based on what we did yesterday, we've got a good understanding of a lot of this kind of setup so far. But I do just need to do a quick break. I want to get a coffee and top up my water. So a couple of minutes and I'll be back in a sec. Right, we are back. Let's see. I think we'll do another few tutorials on this. Not too long to stream today. A little bit tired from night shift last night, so we'll see how much focus I've got. I'm not going to stress too much about a long stream. But I think we'll dip our Spotify down a little bit more and
so let's
we'll continue
dive
on.
further into routing here. Now, the examples that we start off with, considering we're just learning the basics here, are going to be a little bit more conceptual, really diving into what exactly we're doing. And then from there, we're going to move it into a more practical way once we get some more skills underneath our belt. So let's go first and foremost and talk about layouts. In Sveltekit, you have this idea of a decorated file like this plus page. And typically if you see a plus, that's because this is a special type of a file, given that it's a page inside of a route, or it could even be a layout. So let's go ahead and create a layout. The first layout that we're going to create is going to be inside of the routes folder. We're going to have a new file. We need to call this plus layout.svelte, okay? So the plus again indicates that this thing needs to be used inside of routing. It's a special file rather than just a normal component that we have living in this folder. Okay, so we have a layout, and you'll notice that the screen just went blank. That's because in Svelte, you may have heard of the concept of a slot. If you've never heard of that and you're coming from React land or otherwise, it's also known as a child or children. And in Svelte, what you need to do is say slot / and what that does is it tells Svelte that this is where you insert the children. Now, as a layout, this layout component automatically wraps around any page from this route further down. So if we were to add in a header, let's do that. We'll say header, and we can have an H1 inside of here that will say level up blog, okay, like this. This level up blog header that we have here is going to be now available on every single route, including the page route that we have here. So this layout literally wraps everything. So if you were thinking about building out a website in Sveltekit and you wanted to have a universal header, as many websites do, and maybe possibly a universal footer, right? Maybe a P level up tutorials like this, right? Something like this. This is a very common way to have your entire setup done. And in fact, an even more common thing to do would be to say, oh yeah, you know what? Everything that's inside of this slot is going to be into a main tag. So a general way that I like to have mine set up is the header, the main, and the footer. Now, I very well may break out my header and footer into their own components, and that's something that we'll be doing as well. However, for now, what you need to know is that anytime you have a plus layout inside of a route, that's going to wrap every single route from here on down the line. So likewise, if we were to have another layout inside of the about file, or the about folder here, if we were to have a layout inside of here, you might guess, and you're probably going to guess correctly, that this is going to be the about layout. And then once again, we need a slot. A key thing with layouts is you almost always need a slot. I've never written a layout in Svelte or Sveltekit without having a slot. Okay, so here we have our level up blog. You'll notice that the about layout does not show up, but when we go to the about page, the about layout does show up, and about layout shows up just under level up blog, but above the about us, which is the page content itself right here. So again, the order is always going to be a layout wraps a page and then wraps any subsequent pages. And likewise, a layout will wrap any page inside of that folder as well. Now, there's ways that we can get around this by making different layout groups and having a little bit more control over what we see here, but that's a bit more of a complex topic than what we're going to be covering off the jump here. Okay, so let's go ahead, and now that we have our layouts, let's go ahead and break out some of those files like we mentioned that we were going to do. So I'm going to close some things, and you'll notice that it gets a little crowded up here with everything being named plus page and plus layout. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to only have my layout open that's at the root of the file here, and I'm going to then create a new file inside of the main routes folder. This is going to be header.svelte. I'm going to use the capital H header like this.
I'm actually not going to follow along
from here
in code as much.
Header code here like this, and paste it into the header.svelte. Now, what we want
Let's
to
just watch along for a bit.
A script tag. Within the script tag, we'll want to import our header component from, and this is just /header.svelte. Now, I am going to be including just some you should knows about Svelte as we go here, even though this is a Sveltekit specific course, and I'm going to assume a baseline level of Svelte knowledge. If not, we do have a Svelte 101 course available on Level Up Tutorials that will cover all of this. However, now what we can do is just use that header component like so, and it's back. Now, this doesn't necessarily look like less code if you think about it, right? Because before we just had a header. But once your header gets more complicated, and let's do the same thing with our footer. Once we have those kind of situations take place, it ends up being a great idea. I'm going to go ahead and say footer.svelte. There's really no penalty in encapsulating some functionality inside of subcomponents like this. Okay, footer now becomes its own thing, and we're going to then import footer from footer. Like this. Thank you for my auto-completion for doing that for me. Okay. And now we do have our footer back and we have our header back. So these are layout files in Sveltekit. Now the coolest thing about them is these are dynamic layouts. When we go ahead and change pages, this content up top here isn't re-rendering or reloading. Therefore, eventually when we want to get into like page transitions and animations and things like that, this content up here isn't going to be affected and only the content inside of the slot is going to be replaced. So as you can see here, we have nested layouts, we have components, subcomponents, all living within this routes folder. As we go on here, we're going to be talking a little bit about CSS in the next video before we dive into what could be thought of as more interesting types of routes. We're going to be talking about parameterized routes. We're going to be talking about error pages. We're going to be talking about how we can load data from the client and the server and still get server-side rendering. All of that and more coming along in this series. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Ooh. Right. I think what we'll target for today is to get down to this loading in layouts. So if we do one full column of the tutorials, I think that would be a good stopping point. And I think we're just going to follow along watching, unless there's something I really want to try out. Then we're just going to watch the video. I feel like there's more benefit for me to do that now, and then when I've got a bit more focus, to continue with playing around in the code. So I'll do that for the moment. Probably a little bit less interactive in terms of... Oh, here we go. Thought this might be the case. Is that how far we can get? Yeah. I'm not too fussed at the moment with this. There are a couple of things in here that I would find quite interesting, but I think there's also... I'm personally not thinking $60 or even on the pro level. Okay, in that case, I mean, they're normally good courses. Level up tutorials on their YouTube courses that I followed along previously. I do think they are good. But considering I'm kind of doing this as like a hobby interesting, I'm not yet ready to spend money or too much money on it. So unfortunately, that's that with that course. I would say it does seem to be covering things in detail and clearly explaining things, but just not for me. Cool. All right. In that case, what do I want to do now? Could find another tutorial. But do I want to do that? I wasn't quite ready for that to stop so abruptly. So let's instead... I think what we'll do, we'll jump back into a bit of pixel art stuff. I started doing a totem for Dead by Daylight, and let's go with that. Just because I'm not as focused as well today, so it's going to be a good way to get something done without having to be too focused on it. So it's going to be Totem, Sprite. Let's put that on a new line. And we're just going to play around with this for a little bit. Nothing too involved or crazy. I'm tempted to make this a lot bigger sprite so I can put more detail in it. That's the other thing. Do I want to do that? Let's see how we can do with this level. So just having a look at doing a totem from Dead by Daylight. Something probably more to use as for thumbnails and stuff like that, but I think maybe doing something like this. No, I prefer it at an angle, I think. I'm not sure I like that either. Maybe even without that. Yeah, that's pretty better. So what's that? That's the 100% size. We're probably going to have it 300% when we use it in thumbnails and stuff like that. So this looks okay. Let's make our second skull up here. And this one's probably going to be facing away from us. Let's have some dark areas here. Just using this reference here, just to have a look at the kind of shapes we're looking at. I think we want something, maybe the next level down like that. And then we need to extend this out to be a bit rounder. That could be a skull. Maybe one layer in though. I think with a bit of shading that will look okay. I'm going to do it without the shading first and see if it all works out fine. Maybe some shape like that. Maybe a bit more up here. It's not going to look too much like a skull yet, but we'll get there. I think I preferred it like this. And maybe we bring this all back one. Have that eye set in a bit more. We'd like to give the little bump for the nose a bit more emphasis, but I think it was better how it was. Let me go back to that. Bring the eye back forward. It was about there, wasn't it? Yeah, I think with shading that will be good. And then this one here, we're going to go for a bit more upright here. I actually quite like working with the plus sign size brush. I find it's easier to make more rounded shapes. But I think that's just me. So because they're all on different layers, I don't have to worry about like deleting anything else on other layers. This eraser will only work on the layer I've got selected. Makes it nice and easy. And really, we should be on this if we're going by what we've been doing on the other skulls. And we'll have an eye here. I think we want to be more like this, yeah. And this should be darker actually. It's weird making Tetris shapes and then be like, oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do for this skull. Let's bring in a little bit of that shape there. Might be better off here. And then we've got quite a flat nose, but with a little bit of indentation, and then dark shapes for the teeth. Maybe just here. Yeah, that looks okay. And then if we shift it over and up one. No, where it was good. Maybe we bring him up instead. Those kind of look like skulls. I think once we've got some shading and the right colours in, that'll be a bit better. So we're going to take off the top of this blue bone there. And then let's look at doing some shading. So what colour do we want our skulls to be? Let's start with the green one. Let's go from our green colour, which we've got here, and we're going to replace it with maybe a light yellow. That could work. We can have different colours on the main block here, and then if we go to our shader tool, select a slightly darker colour, and then let's give it, so it's going to be lit from below because most totems have a little bit of like fire burning underneath, so we're going to have darker over the top. Normally that means stuff like this. And then we'll go darker again. So obviously this is going to blend in a bit with our other yellow one up here. And then we might manually add in a few lines here for the skull shape. Give it an idea of being like a little bit more cracked. Not sure too much about this yet. I've not really done things lit from the bottom before. I think really a lot of this top bit should be darker. Let's make sure we got our shading tool on. That's a little bit better. I think we've got a. Maybe it was nicer when it's green. I know it's not the right colours, but it could be more interesting this way. This sub-brand colour that we're using, so we've got to try and incorporate that somehow as well. So maybe let's take this colour and replace it with our brand green. maybe work in some highlights like this. Why is that not working? On the right layer. Oh, because we don't have this green, that's why. And then if we select all three, what we can do is do a really big version and just go like that. And then we can manually come in and adjust just for little bits here where it'll be a little bit darker. Maybe that's better. And then let's swap out our other color here. Maybe with this like darkish color, which would mean maybe this, or maybe a dark purple. I just don't want it straight across like that because you lose any idea of what's going on. That could be alright. And actually, I think I want to stick with the yellow. So we select this and we do a bit of shading here. We're going to lose stuff. We are a little bit. But it's going to be similar. We're going to have a lot of shade across the top. And if we shade again, we're going to lose the other little bits that we were doing there, but we can bring them back in. And we can have a little bit lighter right down here near the bottom. Give the impression that we're being lit from below. That looks okay. And then can we have a darker sections here? And a little bit of detail, like maybe try and get a crack going across here. That looks okay. I think it's still slightly off on the shape here. But I don't want to mess around too much with it, because if it's kind of looking okay, I normally I want to avoid touching it too much. Okay, that looks okay. Undid that one, didn't I? So this orange one, what color can we do for the orange? Could maybe do a blue, but that's going to clash with that too much. The orange could be okay. Maybe a darker blue, actually. Let's go with that. Well, actually, here we can test it out. Something like this. No. Doesn't look good. That blue could be okay. Could go for like a pinky red. Or this light blue. I think that light blue is going to merge in with our green colours too much. Don't want it fluorescent pink. Green could be okay. That kind of just blends into the background there. Maybe pink. Like this pastel-y pink. That could be good. Yeah, that looks alright. I think we're going to struggle a little bit with the dark colours though. Yeah, that looks decent. And if we replace these with this kind of colour, and maybe go for a red for the accents, that's starting to look okay. I think we probably need a bit lighter here, a bit lighter coming up here. And then something even brighter, which might have to go for white. Oh, no, too big. Just that one. Let's do a little bit of shade here. Just right at the top. I think those look okay, actually. Now what we could do is take them and just do an outline around them. See how that looks. I think I prefer without. Let's see if we select this one and try the same thing. It's okay. I think I prefer without though. Right, and then these main bits in the middle. Let's start with this one. So we're going to select the color that we've got here, and we're going to do some darker shading. So above, because we're going to have the fire below it. We're going to have some brightness here at the bottom. Actually, let's add a little bit more of the lighter color. Just maybe just have a line going along the back. Something like that. We'll do the same with this, but we probably don't want these colors. Might be better to take our color selection here. And we'll go for this middle color, replacing it with a yellow. Yeah, that yellow's okay actually. We get a lighter yellow in front of it. Not sure I like that. Let's change again. This one. Maybe we have to cut away a little bit here. And this purple can change to maybe some deep dark purple like this. And let's make it disappear a bit quicker here. We'll see. I'm not sure what I really want to do with those yet, so maybe that's not the move we want to do. But we're going to take this and we're going to swap this over to one of our pinky colours. I'm going to try and match up the props with the skull colours. So we're going to take this, we're going to shade, and we're going to go darker. With this, we're just going to use the single pixel option. And then we're going to give it a light colour here as well, for where the fire is going to be. And then this last one, we're going to select the colour, going to replace it with our own brand colour. Probably going to go darker, because what we are seeing is the bit over the fire, so we're seeing the back of it. And then let's go from this colour, we'll go lighter on both sides. So a little bit here, a little bit there. Maybe lighter still on this side. And then at the top here we need some cover up, I think. So like they've got them all wrapped up there. Maybe an idea that we wrap these together with some dark colour. So do something like this. And then also give it some kind of block underneath here, just to give it a clear definition from the skull. Maybe this dark purpley colour. Don't need it there. Now, do I like this or not? I think it's difficult to tell until we put the other elements in. So this is this layer here. So we want to put a fire here, I think. And what colours are we going to use for the fire? So this should disappear behind our other layers. not a massive fan of making flames and stuff like that in pixel art. I find it quite difficult so far. I'm just going to do general blobs for the rough area. I'll do... Let's see, how did we do it for our Charizard? Let's have a look at that. What's the one we settled on? So this one? Okay, so we've got like dark red, white, and then these two creamy colours. So none of this orange colour. Let's replace all of that with that. And then a dark red, which is going to tie in with the base a bit too much. Let's take this and replace that colour for the moment with like a dark purple. And then when we're in here, we'll have a look at our reds. Was it this red? No, darker red. Okay. Right, some of this colour. Some white. Sure, there's something else here, right? This yellow. Where's this yellow? Oh, wait. We're using more yellow rather than the pinks. That's why. So we'll take this colour. We're going to replace it with the light yellow. That's better. Right, now we can leave a little gap here. Starting to form. Maybe we can have a little bit escaping up. Which is unfortunately going to get lost in the background here. So maybe we do it outside of the totem bones, so up here somewhere instead. We'll do that kind of shape. With a little bit of... No worries, Rinks. Hope it's nothing too annoying that you're sorting. I figured I haven't got enough focus to really do felt at the moment. So I've swapped over to doing our totem sprite for Dead by Daylight, which we might use on some thumbnails. I always find fire quite difficult to do. It's kind of annoying, but you think you've got a little sorted out, maybe. Oh. Kind of issues is some, yeah. I can imagine there's lots of annoying things that can pop up. Yeah. Glad to hear you sorted out a little bit. Hopefully it's all okay. It's not coming out right here. It's an annoying thing with working like just 2 pixels. trying to figure stuff out here. Maybe let's do like a Y shape. That might work better. No. Okay, I think what we want to do is simplify the colors and just do something like that. That looks better. That might be it. Just feel like you've been stagnating for 10 years. I'm certain that's not the case. Yeah, I guess sometimes it will feel like that, but I'm sure that's not true. Is it because you feel like your style isn't changing? I did like this 10-year redraw, but to you it totally looks the same. But maybe... yeah, I don't know about going back to things and redrawing them. Because if you've already got a style in your head of how it was drawn before... I would say rather than... I don't know what... Not necessarily, it's not too concerned about style. Well, that might be one of your biggest differentials, though. Like, you might be able to now draw that same image, but in like 6 different or 8 different styles. Whereas before you would do the same, or be very similar, or maybe even it took you like multiple hours to do it last time, and now it only takes you 20 minutes or 30 minutes. It's not necessarily about things looking different in the end. You're improving by speeding up as well. There's lots of different ways. Composition pieces you might have a better understanding with now. You might have a better understanding of like how to frame things or how to position things. There's a lot of things that change rather than just the one thing that you're focusing on here. So yeah, try not to focus too much. It is good to be self-critical, but not to a point where you yeah. And things in isolation, if it's just like one piece, it's like, okay, maybe this doesn't look that different now, but I might have a better understanding of how to redraw it in a different pose, or redraw it to fit into an overall composition, like I'm saying. Like there's lots more to it. So I'm sure there's lots of progress that you're not thinking about. That challenge was like one of those internet things, and it just seemed like everyone else had huge gaps. Yeah, but also the other thing to consider is the only people who are posting are the ones who have noticeable difference of their style or differences like that. There's probably like 60% to 80% of the people doing the challenge aren't posting their results. Maybe because they're not so happy with the I always find like social media, internet things are not a good way to judge things. And yeah, some people will have massive changes in styles, and maybe that's been what they've been focusing on. You may have been focusing on other things. No, it's easy to fall into that trap as well, though. But yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more that you haven't considered for your own development there. That is way better. I'm not sure I like this. this wrap around here. Maybe it's... that's not going to work. Yeah. It's always tricky to set those kind of goals. Is there a certain element that you're looking to improve? Because the whole like just get better, I think is always going to be too broad a topic to look at. Do you want to improve on your... Oh, the multicolour skulls. The thing is, the way I tend to go about, that's the thing. I look at your work and feel like something's missing, but I can't tell what. Ah. Well, maybe it would be a case to ignore looking at your work and just be like, okay, let's do a week where I focus on color theory and just do loads of different pieces, but the main goal of it is to focus on color, and that's it. And then do a week of like perspective and a week of poses or something like that. And just through like focusing on different parts of your art. I don't know especially what would be useful. I'm very new to this field, so I can't really comment too much. But yeah, maybe that might help. I normally, with most things, when I'm trying to learn something, I do find it's kind of what you're thinking to do at the moment because you're lost. Well, yeah, but it'll probably be just a frame of mind as well. That because you feel lost, it makes it harder to navigate. Normally, yeah, what I was going to say was when I'm trying to learn something and I get a bit stuck with stuff or I feel like I'm not doing progress, is normally imposing limitations on yourself is what I find to help. So at the moment, I'm using lots of different colors and all that kind of stuff. If I wanted to, I think doing a challenge where I could only use like 2 or 3 different colors, and that's it. So no shading, maybe just black and white, and black, white, and grey, and see what I can do with that would be a challenge, and it will teach me loads about like structures and shading and that kind of idea. I don't know if maybe in the kind of artwork you do, you could do a pencil-only challenge, or you're also thinking maybe start pixel art, hoping that learning new... Yeah. And also it'll give you different tips and tricks. You love pencil-only. Well, maybe just do something based around that. Some challenges around doing things you're enjoying. But yeah, so far I found pixel art I'm really enjoying. So yeah, if you're considering it and you think you'd enjoy it, 100%, I'd suggest going ahead with it. But yeah, I've basically been watching YouTube videos about pixel art for a good, like, oh god, I don't even know, years and years. And I've always been tempted to try it, and it's only just recently that I've been like, okay, let's just give it a go. So I think in the background I've got like all these different tips and tricks in my head that I'm kind of incorporating, but I can't think of what I've done differently. Let's have this a bit blockier around here. Oh, nice. Yeah, 100% Ace Bright is it's really useful. Hey Prince Chandy, how's it going? I'm good, thank you. How are you doing? I figured I haven't got enough focus to do Svelte stuff, or to continue doing Svelte stuff, so I've swapped over to doing some pixel art stuff where I don't need to be as focused. Oh wait, I think I'm on the wrong layer with that. Oh no. Oh no, it's the right layer, that's fine. Yeah, if you're looking to get started on pixel art, 100% the course by Adam Eunice is so good. Ace Bright. This pixel art class.
It's really the choice to play.
Describes everything really well. How to use, how to set up your shortcuts, all that kind of stuff. This whole playlist. I think I've shared it before, but I'll give another. You saved it from last time and linked it. Yeah, it's been so good. And I think basically just by watching his videos for ages, it's so good with animations and all that kind of stuff. It sounds like a plan. Right, so let's give a... What colour can we give to this? Maybe like a yellow? You know what? That's pretty close, actually. I'm not liking the sticks structure. I think I might just make those thinner. Because I feel like they're taking away from the style. I still need to do the base, so there's still lots to do. Yeah, I think that's better. Let's cut in here. Let's cut out a little bit here. And we'll go off to the side more. And we're going to have to bring the base over a little bit, but that's okay. Actually, let's give it all one color for the moment. Because I'm not sure I like the shading. So I'm going to restart that bit. So we're going to have to come over here and then also run that one. Yep, doing a DVD totem. Thank you, Icy Stacy. How are you doing? welcome back in. Yeah, I figured I need some more stuff to put on my thumbnails for when I'm doing DBD. And why not make a pixel art version? And actually, I quite like the multicolored setup of it. Wasn't too sure what I'd go for. You're good. Phil needs to be productive. I can't motivate. I feel like there's maybe a general vibe today. I'm good. Yeah, I did a night shift last night, so I'm kind of just doing this as like something I can do in the background, not having to be too focused. I'm probably not going to be streaming for too much longer. Just a short stream today because I tried doing some programming a little bit earlier and just found I haven't got the focus to do it. So sometimes just taking a step away and not trying to force yourself to be productive actually helps. Yeah. I don't know if it's just me as well, but I find sometimes if I haven't done some proper exercise for a little while, my productivity and my mood just drops so much. I'm not sure I like this. Let's do that and then give it one little bump there. And let's narrow this down a little bit as well. Generally not a sports person, so maybe that's the problem with your motivation as well. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a sports person at all. But occasionally, like, I did get into running a little bit at one point. And I do enjoy cycling. So even just when I'm feeling like no motivation at all, going out for like a 15-minute run or a 20-minute run sometimes is enough just to be like, okay, this is good. Like a couple of kilometers, doesn't have to be much, and that's what wakes me up and really improves my mood. That's the main thing. Yeah, it could be just the fresh air, to be honest. No, but it's definitely some form of exercise because I do go out for walks and stuff like that fairly often. Right, let's have a bit more fire over this side. Bit more red maybe, just around the corners. Right, this front support needs some kind of color change as well. So maybe we're looking at some brightness on this side. That's too bright. Let's do this. That's looking okay. Maybe a few spots like this. Yeah, that looks nice. Is it overkill to do dark spots on the side though? Kind of lost in it. No worries, Rinks. Hope the pet talk was useful. And thank you. If I don't see you, have a good weekend. Yeah, good night. Thanks for stopping by. A little bit of darkness on the back of this. Right, I think what we're going to do, another little bit of flame off to the left here would be good. We could probably just do some spots dotted around. It's on the flame there. Just do like some bits like this dotted around. And maybe a couple of darker ones as well. Try and not have too many things like directly in line. I think the darker ones need to be a bit longer. Actually, maybe that's better. Thanks, Darcy. Yeah, so that looks okay. And let's see what it looks like if we put a dark background behind it. So maybe even just black. Yeah, that's gonna look quite cool on thumbnails and stuff like that. I'm really happy how the skulls have turned out. Actually, I thought they were going to be a nightmare because they're all going to merge into each other. But having like really contrasting colours, actually that works quite well. We're probably going to have it about this size. Maybe get rid of that one. It's a bit of a balancing act to have too many dots around, and let's have some more of these around. Let's go one there. You like the glowing effect? Oh, the purple thing at the bottom, I'm still that's just a placeholder at the moment. Or it was intending to be a placeholder for the like the triangle of bones at the bottom. But actually it does make sense that it's a bit of a glow from the fire. I wonder if we like if we give it a bit more of like a circular glow. And a bit like cut up as well. That looks quite cool. So like just in the darkness, that's the ground lit up a bit more. Maybe it doesn't need the triangle of bones around the bottom. It's clearly identifiable what it is. I'm not sure I like this the wrap that's going around though. This colour. And also, I think a few more spots of shadow in here. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think doesn't actually need the base. How have your streams been going? I saw a few. You're playing Raft at the moment, aren't you? No, not yet. It's potentially something I might look into. I think my next step at the moment is to do. I want to do time lapses, so I can do short videos, just showing the process. Because apparently, for growth at the moment, a good idea is to do shorts on TikTok and YouTube, and there's a lot more eyes on things like that. So I'm looking for a way to get more people into the stream, and hopefully that's an interesting way to do it. I think maybe do something like this. I think that's better. You don't stream it very often, just when you want to take time for this. When your boyfriend isn't available. The last stream wasn't that good. I like to talk to chat, but there's no viewers. Yeah, it's always the case. It's definitely easier to stream when you are talking to other people. But also, that's part of the challenge, I think, is to keep talking about things and try and keep it interesting, even when you've got nothing to bounce off. There will be people there. It's just lurking, so they're probably doing other stuff as well. Try making some shorts of funny moments in the games you're playing. Ooh. Yeah, I think it's just going to be. I think my target with this is just going to be. It's a bit of a slog to figure out how to get people interested and involved. But at the same time, the stuff I'm doing on stream are things that I want to learn, and even just having the videos is things I can go back on and look at and figure out how I've done things previously. Maybe slightly above like this. Sorry, I'm just playing about with this at the same time. No, I think where they were. Yeah, just having references that I can go back to and figure out, like, okay, why did I make that decision? So really VODs as well are partly for me to view. I think having like a different purpose from the streaming is always a good thing. And lots of people are saying at the moment, like, just streaming on Twitch or just streaming on YouTube is very difficult to grow. What color can I use for this? I really don't like this wraparound bit. Can it be blue? Or is that going to look weird? It's going to look weird. Maybe it's the shape that doesn't look nice. You'd need more than a terabyte to keep the references. Have you got loads of content that you've used before? How is this working? Like this? That could be it. Maybe do something like that. I might go with that, to be honest. Lots of gameplay, take away so much space that you have to delete some old videos. Yeah, so I don't actually record any of my streams, but because I stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time, the YouTube VODs are just there forever. So that's my way of recording it. So if I want to go back and take some gameplay from an old video, I just find the VOD in YouTube, download the section I need, or download the whole video, and then edit that one video. And then my hard drive is completely clear of all the videos. But I know that only works for me because yeah, so there's this website called Restream. Let me see if I can find it for you. The main tricky bit is I can't take Twitch's affiliate program, because when you sign on that program or any like monetization from Twitch, you're signing into exclusivity that you're only on one platform while you're live, so you can't do YouTube and Twitch at the same time. But I think they changed it so you can do TikTok and Twitch at the same time. So, but yeah, Restream, if you go to restream.io, they have a free tier available, and basically you just link up your different channels, and then it gives you a chat here that you can open in OBS. So if I show you my OBS setup, it's going to look a bit mental for a minute, but here I've got a chat which has options for me to speak to Twitch directly, YouTube directly, or if I go to Restream, then it sends it to both of them. And I can update my titles in individual channels here. So yeah, it's really cool service. And there is options also to upgrade here. So let me see all plans. So yeah, at the moment I can stream to 2 different sources. Wait, is this is chat settings? Where is it? I don't know if I can add another channel, but yeah, loads of different platforms that you can stream to. And yeah, I think if you're looking to do this a bit more involved, definitely the upgrade options aren't too bad. I did see an offer a few weeks ago, which is like a lot more discount, but at the moment the free stuff seems pretty good. The free tier basically only has that the things like the YouTube videos automatically have your description updated to say that it was streamed using Restream. But yeah, really good, really useful for multi-streaming if you haven't taken a exclusivity deal with Twitch. Right, I think we're gonna say we're happy with this. Potentially gonna do something like this, and then maybe a darker color on that. Gonna get rid of that one. Yeah, no worries. I mean, you might consider it for streaming on TikTok. I know that TikTok has streaming options, and it's a lot easier to get noticed because the TikTok algorithm really promotes smaller channels as well. I know Twitch is very difficult to get any new eyes on you. You have to. It's very important to reach out into other locations to get people into your streams. I mean, I'm saying that, but my extent of TikTok is I've set up a @LongBGG, and that's it. I haven't done anything on this profile. I think I might have set the profile picture. Yeah. But no uploads, no likes. Haven't done anything yet. But my intention is to take some of the pixel art streams I've done, put them into a time lapse, and then put those up as TikTok videos, and hopefully get some info going through that. And I think the streaming to TikTok will be something that might come down the line. But yeah, I think what we're going to do with this totem is we're going to, let's edit the canvas so that we're a bit closer cut. There's a timeline option in Asprite. Really? Oh, this is more for animation frames, I think, timelines. So let's say, actually, that could be a good idea. Let's do another couple of here, and then basically all I want to do let's change up the fire a little bit. Let's go up here. That's a good point. I haven't done animations for a little while. TikTok is not a good platform for deep and nuanced engagement. Yeah, that's a very good point. But I am under the impression that it's the whole point of streaming on TikTok is to get people to move from TikTok into your Twitch streams. Ooh. So it's less about the engagement on TikTok. It's more about discovery. Actually, I didn't want to do that. Oh no, I did want to do that. Because what you can do here is onion layering, I think it's called. Is it this button? Onion skin. Yeah. So here you can see from frame to frame the changes. So what I want to do is I want to delete these again. I notice I've got things on the wrong layers here, but they're okay. I think you're right. It's a good platform for getting eyes on your content. Yeah. Yeah. You've got to be really conscious of like, it's basically as short form video as you can go. If your video is more than like 20 seconds long, you're probably too late. So I do think it would work. No, I prefer it with. Now that I've made that change. Yeah, I think for stuff like pixel art though, what I'm intending to do, let's say, for example, I look at, actually, if I just look at one of these. So what I could do is start off with a picture of the end goal of what I'm making. And then have it saying like making Jolteon sprite in pixel art. And that would be like the first 2 seconds, 3 seconds of the video. And then a quick time lapse of making it from start to finish. And that's that would be enough. Hopefully. Oh, I don't want to close that. Right, so let's see if we can do... Oh, we can't select these colors, unfortunately. We're going to have to pick the color here. And then we'll go up here. And we've got it here as well. Oh, actually, what would be nice, instead of that, we're going to invert the direction. Let's do that. And then these bits are coming out here. And then what color is this? This is this yellow. We can have like a bit like that. And we'll take some whites and go out in this direction. Wish you a nice rest of the stream. Thank you very much. Maybe get TikTok and see this animation. Hopefully. I mean, I've just got to make some time to actually learn how to do video editing first. So it might be a little while before that happens. Let's do something like that. And a few more spots coming out. We need to tweak our fire a little bit. Right, this color. But yeah. Thanks for dropping by. There's been some interesting things. Let's just change up the fire a little bit around here. Probably just going over the same bits again, but all it needs to be is just a little bit different. Well, that might be a little bit too much, but we'll see. And something like that. I just realised we can have our music a little bit louder. So yeah, we turn on our background layer. And then let's see our animation play. Think a little bit slower. Right, so it'd be nice to have this base layer change around a little bit as well. So I think what we're going to do is just take this and we'll just mess around a little bit with this plus shape a little bit more. And I'm just going to click around randomly and then hopefully that'll be an interesting enough change. I'm not going to bother too much making loads of edits here. Did I change the wrong one? This one needs changing. Let's do something more like this. Okay, now let's play it. That's looking all right. Actually, can I boomerang it? Rewind and stop. No, that's not rewinding on stop. I want it to go... I'm sure I can make it do this. Maybe not. I was almost certain that you can make it go 0, 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2 in that order. And it's probably a setting there, but I can't see where that is. Right, some little changes here though. Stop this, let's go. Actually, let's have our view preview, and we'll zoom in a little bit on this. Why can I not zoom in? And we'll have it playing here. Hopefully. Can we have it playing there? So now what we can do is we can go in and tweak these. So let's do something like that. We just want a few little tweaks going on, very small changes. Maybe something like that? No, that's not good. And then on our last frame, we're kind of coming back down to something similar here. Maybe we don't want quite as dramatic a change here. Let's slow down the speed of this a bit more again, just so we can see what's happening a bit more. That's the default. I think that changes too much. Just want some very small edits, I think. So all I'm doing is making little tweaks and just seeing what the result is on here. And I want it to look like as the fire's moving a little bit, we've got some interesting stuff going on here. Maybe actually we can have some fire coming out in this kind of direction. And then a bit more over here. Just just a little bit of change of shape of the fire maybe might be interesting. And then let's have a little look at the skulls here in the background. Just want subtle changes. I think this frame here looks wrong. I don't know this. That looks okay. I wonder if it's worth having some like darker edges occasionally here. No, it might be alright to have it on all of them. Just a bit of variation going on. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer for that, but that doesn't matter too much. Yeah, that looks alright to me. Maybe let's get rid of this, the white up here. That's not necessary. It's too high up. And there's another one around here that looks wrong. I think that's it. I think I'm quite happy with that. Right, we're going to save that. We're going to edit our sprite size, canvas size, because it's way too tall here. So let's see, what does 70, 60, 56, 54. 54's okay, and the width can come in a lot. So let's say 30. And can I cycle through? It's included in all of it. And we can do a little bit more actually. Let's take a few other bits away. So let's stick to our right hand side. And we're going to say 26, 28. Maybe 27. That looks okay. And then from the bottom, let's do 50. 48. No, 50. 49. And then one more trim from the top. 48. 47. Okay, and then we play at double speed. Let's see. Too fast. 1.5 speed. 1 speed. That's it. I'm quite happy with how that's come out. So I'm going to save that, and we'll probably be using that in holding screens, or when I'm playing Dead by Daylight or stuff like that in the future. Cool. With that, I'm going to wrap up stream there. It's only a short stream today, but I've got running running a bit low on focus, so I don't want to push it. Thank you everyone who has dropped in and chilled out with me today. Hope it's been interesting. There wasn't much Svelte going on, but we'll get there with a bit more. Maybe I'm probably not going to stream tomorrow, but we're going to be doing some more Svelte as we go. I might be doing some off stream just to play around with it. But yeah, thanks a lot for everyone who's dropped by. Hope you have a good weekend. Next stream is going to be on Saturday for a continuation of our Pokemon randomizer series. We've still got 5 laps, our Charizard going. And yeah, it's been fun. Have a good weekend. Catch you later. Thanks, bye.